Hello, hello.
Yo,
Welcome to the Creator Hangout. Today's special guests have got Julius Freeman and Anthony Gambino.
hello everyone.
What's going on?
So how's it going, guys?
Going good.
Yeah.
Going good.
Yeah, baby. It's going good.
Busy like
Going good.
making honey, all that good stuff.
Making honey. I like that.
Yeah, you
Benny,
know,
I think this is the first
I'm
time.
a believer. There's two types of people in the world. There's you're either a bee or you're a hornet or a wasp. One creates honey and does something productive. The other is just venomous.
Very interesting. I like that.
So busy like a bee.
There you go.
Ben, I think this is the first time we've streamed with your face.
No, dude, we've streamed together before. We've talked.
Not with your face?
Yeah, dude, with my face.
No.
Yeah. No, yeah. I remember streaming with Ben with his camera on for the writers stream that we did a year back.
What?
Yeah, I think you might be confused because now I'm not on camera and I'm usually on camera.
Yeah, what's going on with that, Julius?
Yeah, what the? He didn't get a chance to do his hair.
I don't know.
So early for him.
Was there chemical accidents?
Yeah, it's early and, I had to do a bunch of chores.
I
didn't have time to, doll myself up, as they say.
Yeah, I mowed my backyard this morning, too. I was doing some chores.
Yeah.
Boom.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, you're better than me, Ben.
And I'm still on camera.
That's right. You don't have like a ghetto dragon hat you can just throw on like Ben did?
Dude, I wish. I had a ghetto dragon hat. That'd be
pretty
sweet.
Dope. Yeah,
you should do that. Look into that.
I should. A yellow hat with his the luchador mask on the front.
Oh,
there you go, man. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Down the line, hopefully. Down the line.
Yeah.
Yeah, volume 2 or book
volume
2.
Yeah, exactly. Volume 2.
Oh man, I can't. I was looking for stuff to work on.
Oh.
But we're in the stretch of the book, and everything is spoilery, so.
Gotcha.
Can't be doing Vigilant Fury stuff.
Are you glitching, Gambino?
Yeah,
or me?
Yeah, he's glitching a little bit.
I'm glitching?
Yeah,
you're glitching a little bit. Are you
Sorry,
sure you're
guys.
not using AI art, Gambino? Did you program
Please.
AI art to portray yourself?
Yeah, he's not really here.
AI should
I don't
be
think the
so
technology has gone that far yet on
No.
that.
Whoa, kind of.
Well, I mean, but you don't work for the government, do you?
No.
As far as you know.
As far as I know, I don't know. Unless you count a college professor as working for the government.
Or so you say
Yeah.
as a cover. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just joking.
Infiltrating from the inside.
Oh, there was a show not too long ago on NBC that starred Christian Slater, where he was just a normal guy. He had no idea that he was like a Manchurian candidate type person. Like the government would turn him on, and he would go out and do missions.
Oh, what show was that? That sounds interesting.
It starred Christian Slater, and I can't remember the name of the show. It was on NBC. It was short lived. NBC just never hang with their shows.
No, yeah, because they have a certain set of like standards. It's not that the show was bad. It's just that it probably wasn't a right fit for their brand.
Right.
What could have been.
Yeah, the last show I saw that went a long time for them was, I think it was The Blacklist was probably the last one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. And also the one about the my wife was really big into it. The one about the plane that disappeared and they came back like 2 years later, and then the whole thing is the people in the plane trying to figure out what happened to them and why they could see the future and all that stuff. Yeah,
what was that one called? I know what you're talking about.
Something with the E. We watched it too.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of it. I didn't watch it with her. She was really big into it, and I would just kind of glance up and be like, "Oh, that's pretty interesting," and then just go back to work.
Yeah, the concept was really cool. I thought the writing could have been a little better.
Well, it's NBC, man.
Yeah, but like Blacklist was pretty strong.
It was. That was a good show.
From what I saw, I didn't watch the whole thing. I watched the first couple seasons, but what the heck was that show called?
It was like Passenger List or Manifest.
Manifest.
Was that it? Manifest.
Manifest.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that was
yes,
it.
that was it. That was it. Manifest.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had another show called Revolution. I thought was really cool, where it was kind of post-apocalyptic after the power went out.
Oh,
do you remember
interesting.
That one?
Oh no, I don't think I ever saw that one.
I'm thinking of something different.
Honestly, I don't watch that much TV anymore like I used to back in the day.
Yeah,
I only know of the shows based on what my wife watches. So like, she was really big into Peaky Blinders recently.
That was great.
And I know that's an old show, but yeah, I watched a few episodes with her and I was like, oh my god, this show is freaking amazing! Holy crap!
Yeah, it's very well done. And talk about writing. Oof.
Yeah, no, the writing was definitely top notch. The one episode I saw that she was kind of, again, was one of those things where I was working and I glanced up, and then once I glanced up, I didn't glance back down. I ended up watching the whole episode.
Yeah.
Was I believe it was the episode when Tom Hardy's character tries to take his company from him by signing the contract, and then he put a grenade in one of the barrels or whatever. And it's a game of chess between the two where they're negotiating down the contract.
Yeah.
While at the same time, he's like slowly giving away, well, I put a grenade here. I have a friend outside. If I don't come out, all that stuff. I was like, whoa, this is intense.
Yeah.
I like this. But yeah, I watched a few episodes here and there from Peaky Blinders, but I intend to start watching it from beginning to end when I have some time.
I have one season left to watch, the last one that came out.
Yeah, it was a cool. I liked how it was obviously it's a gangster show, and there's been dozens and dozens of gangster shows, but I like the twist in this one that it's a family that's but it's almost like legit because they use contracts, sign contracts and stuff, and that's the part that got me like, oh, okay, I'm cool with this. This is different. This is a different take on an old genre, which is the gangster, I guess, genre.
Well, isn't it based off of a true family, like a real family? Or am I making that?
I don't know. I think it's fictional. I think it's a fictional family, but it's based off of like the real things that happened during that time in Britain. Yeah, because they mentioned Winston Churchill. They mentioned the Italian mob family.
Yeah, the Sicilians are in there in the show.
Yeah.
For a little bit. That's something I was really impressed with too, is they were speaking Sicilian, which never happens.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they had to be accurate. I mean, that's where the mob came from Sicily, right?
Yeah.
The Cosa Nostra.
Something like that. I don't even know.
Yeah, so it was a Cosa Nostra. Cosa Nostra, I think that's what it was pronounced as. And I have to, again, it was another episode I watched, vague, kind of glancing up, was the Adrian Brody as the hitman, the Sicilian hitman. I was like, what the hell?
Yeah,
I forgot how good of an actor Adrian Brody is, man.
For that guy to learn Sicilian and pretty well, like it was.
I liked how he had that Marlon Brando-esque delivery too of his accent. Yeah, but it was a lot harsher and sharper and meaner because
he just looked like all of my uncles when they talk.
Oh yeah, they all have the scowls. Well, I just gotta tell you, I got a deal for you.
That's awful. Right. That's a testament to good writing, though. You'll watch a show that you typically wouldn't watch because it's already been done before, or it's just not your genre. And I was talking to my brother about this because we're like just talking about writing, like good TV writing or good television writing. Like, what's something that you've seen that you wouldn't typically watch because the writing was so good? And for me, that was Downton Abbey. I watched.
Interesting, really?
yeah. Not a genre I would normally care about. Like the story, a bunch of butlers and rich people. Like I don't care about that. But my wife was watching it, and so I watched like a couple of episodes with her, and I was hooked. Man, the writing was so good.
I'll admit that's another show my wife was into, and I didn't watch episodes like I did with Peaky Blinders with her. I only watched one, and it was the one with the butler. One of the butler's, I guess, girlfriends gets assaulted, and the butler like disappears for like a few days, and he comes back, and all of a sudden, like, the guy who visited your mansion mysteriously died.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is interesting. Okay, but then I never got into that after. But I will admit, the writing was good. I was really impressed with not only the writing but also the acting as well.
Yeah,
the acting was really well done.
Yeah, and directed well. Like the shots are beautiful.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's see. My wife's never seen Downton Abbey. I've never seen it. But there was a show on Netflix that I saw my wife watching it and I was like, what is this crap? And then I
the Gilmore Girls.
No, my God. No.
I'm not knocking the Gilmore Girls, by the way. I actually like the show. I watched the whole series.
I can't look at it. I can't. It's the most unnatural thing I've ever seen. The speed in which they respond to each other, it doesn't happen in real life. Anyway, that's not the show. It's a show called Never Have I Ever. It's produced by Mindy Kaling, Kelly from The Office.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, what is this teeny bopper drama nonsense that you're watching? But then I caught a scene and I caught myself giggling like a little girl because it's about this Indian girl in high school. And it's just like she's navigating life through high school and going through all that stuff. But it's like a comedy too. So I found myself laughing at all the like little immigrant nuances with her family. Because it's, even though it's Indian, there's kind of a similarity across immigrant cultures.
Right.
And some of it's like I've seen this happen with my own cousins and my uncles and stuff. Right. It's so funny. It got a little weird the last couple of seasons, but the first like 2 were just hysterical. So funny. And she makes fun of me all the time because I got sucked into that stupid show.
Well, like Ben was saying, that's a testament to good writing. And that's the key to any skilled writer out there who's able to pull in people who normally wouldn't watch or read or anything that they may consider to be, I guess, beneath them or kind of like something they're not just into.
Right, like outside of the genre.
Yeah, and still be able to pull you in and enjoy the show. It's that's like a grandmaster level right there of writing.
Yeah.
An example that I have for comics, it was when I bought Parker, I think, was it?
Okay.
Yeah. With it was adapted from a novel in I can't remember the artist's name now. Darwin Cook was the writer and artist of that book. Parker, I think it was called. Again, a genre that I'm not really into, but he hooked me, man. He hooked me with his art style and also the story. The pacing was really well done. And then, once I started reading, I was hooked. I was completely hooked.
What's it? Is it like a spy book? I feel like I've heard of it.
No, dude, it's a revenge story, dude. It's about a gangster who gets betrayed by one of his partners and his girlfriend. His girlfriend betrays him as well, and he survives the attempted assassination or the ambush, and he just plans his revenge, dude. Like, and it's great how he does it too, which is I think what makes the story fantastic is the fact that he not only does he go after the guy who betrayed him, but he goes after the corporation, or not the corporation, the syndicate that hired him. And
the crime syndicate?
Yeah, dude. He goes after the crime syndicate, and he like straight up just like showcases how weak they become. Like there's a great scene in the book where I think it was either the lawyer or one of his like I guess consigliers, one like his advisor or whatever. Because Parker hires he recruits a bunch of his old friends, old colleagues, and they hit a bunch of casinos that are owned and controlled by the syndicate. And so when the head honcho of the syndicate is wondering how the hell was this guy able to take out or rob me, his advisor tells him, look, you have civilians working in these casinos. Like you in the beginning you had tough guys protecting the casinos, but then as you got more legit, you need to you hired civilians because you wanted to cover yourself up from the authorities. So essentially, the syndicate prime boss was like, okay, I get it. So we got soft. That's what you're essentially telling me. And he's like, yeah, essentially, that's exactly what I'm telling you. You got soft. It was great. It was a great story. I highly recommend it. Darwin Cook's Parker series. It was a fantastic book.
Check that out.
I'm reading Sentient right now. Do you guys ever read that?
Sentient. Is that Jeff Lemire?
Yes.
No.
With
Jeff Lemire, right?
Gabriel Walta. I love his art, and Jeff's writing is pretty much always on point.
Yeah, he's a good writer.
And it's really good. It's got like Alien vibes, like Aliens, Sigourney Weaver Alien. And it's this ship that is headed towards a new colony, or it's almost like a colony ship, and they're headed somewhere else to establish the new Earth, essentially, because Earth has become uninhabitable. That story. And then, like, I don't want, without giving too much away, something happens in the ship, and the ship's AI almost becomes their mother and protector. I'm not all the way through with the story yet, but so far it's really good.
Thanks.
And I usually, like, I wouldn't go for something that has to do with AI, but it's really good so far.
Who's the artist on that?
Gabriel Walta. He did Tom King's The Vision book a few years ago.
Oh, okay.
He's doing Phantom Road right now, also with Jeff for Image, which is another book I really like. And I think he's done a few Hellboy stories. And I'm sure I'm missing stuff, but the biggest one he's known for is Vision.
Okay.
I think he won an Eisner for that book.
Nice.
But what's going on with you, Ben?
Not much. I haven't had time to read. I think the last book I read was Fabrizio Aiello's H.H. Hoover.
Nice. How is it?
Yeah, I liked it. It's really, really quirky character, really fun. Took me back to, like, you know, the 80s and 90s. You know, it's a really nice book.
That's on my list of books to get to.
But yeah, I think I read that like 2 weeks ago or so. Haven't had time.
That's what I like to hear.
Too busy coloring, too busy writing.
It's the way it should be.
Yeah. I mentioned this backstage, but I'm going to pull this up now. This is...
it's a throwback.
A throwback from 2 years ago on Drama Draws. And Ryan went did this awesome commercial. Julius, you said you'd never seen this before?
No, I've never seen this before at all. I'm curious now to watch it.
It's going to be a treat.
Yeah,
you'll like it because there's wrestling involved. Without giving too much away.
then it's right up my alley then.
All right, here we go.
So right after, no, you're after that. After that, Rob. It's like, there you go. See, Gambino, it's really all about Rob. I just joked that it's all about me.
I mean, I told you I was only on because he couldn't make it. I knew that. I'm not dumb.
Geronimo and Gambino climbing the ladder of success together. Geronimo and Gambino drawing their way to the top. Oh yeah! You love them every Tuesday on Geronimo Draws. Now bring home all the action with Geronimo and Gambino action-packed figures. Take them behind the studio and help them train between streams. Geronimo and Gambino train between to the top. Oh yeah! Gambino, sharpen my pencil and fetch me my coffee. Yeah, boss. Geronimo and Gambino climbing the ladder of success together. Greetings, travelers. Let's climb our way out of this dump. Let's get ripped, doing reps. Yeah, boss. Do they stay? First up, Geronimo. DC Comics is having a renaissance. Now Gambino Ew, it's just spaghetti. Sorry, guys. Watch them inspire each other. I like all of your red. I like all of your black. Yay! Geronimo and Gambino, climbing the ladder of success together. Get yours today. I don't know where. Somebody probably sells them, right?
Oh my God!
Is that supposed to be a tattoo or chest hair? What is that?
Now I don't
needs to
know.
remove your shirt.
God,
Soto drops the challenge.
Oh,
so ridiculous.
mackerel. Oh my goodness gracious!
That was so good.
Yeah, I love that.
Now that that tune's gonna be stuck in my head now.
Right?
Oh,
It's catchy.
Geronimo and Gambino climbing the ladder of success together. Those jingles, man, they're hooked. That's the reason why they stick with you, right? Jingles
That's right.
are very, very addicting.
Ryan.
Yeah. He
We
did a
miss
good
you,
job on
Ryan.
it. Yeah, he needs to come back. So how is Vigilant Fury doing, guys?
It's doing
pretty
well.
good.
It's doing well. It's a little slower than I anticipated, but I guess it's just a given. The economy's bad, and
Yeah, it is.
drama online is it sells, right? It's selling like hotcakes. Maybe that's what we should do, Gambino. Maybe you and I should like do a like a wrestling angle where like you and I start feuding, and then we just talk smack on each other.
You start beef.
Buy my book, screw to own Gambino, and you could be like, buy my book to own Julius. We can make a lot of money, dude. We can make a lot of money together.
I don't care.
Yeah, Julius is gonna make one of those commercials that
I need to make those commercials. I need to follow Ryan Wynn's
I'd rather have my integrity.
his lead.
Yeah.
That could be your gimmick, your integrity. You have integrity. I'm Gambino. I have integrity. But no, it's going well. And Anthony has been great delivering the pages. We're close to the finish line, and we are ready and excited to give this book to the backers, to people who back the book and are looking to read it. Because I'll admit, man, Gambino and I we developed and produced a pretty damn good book here. Action-packed, page turner. As I've been lettering the pages, I just find myself like, yeah, man, this is gonna be like, it really is a page turner. Like I can't wait to finish lettering the rest of the pages so I could read it over and over again and enjoy it. But yeah, you guys, for those of you who have not backed it, back it now, because you're not gonna get the goodies that we're offering now after we close this second chance campaign. Because after this, we're going to the printers. We're going to get the books out to the backers, and then Anthony and I are going to focus on the aftermarket. We're going to focus on trying to get this book into shops, be it via ourselves, going to Diamond or Lunar or Luna, whatever it's called nowadays, or find a publishing house who's willing to pick up the book and distribute them nationwide to all the shops. So get it now, because you're not going to get any of the extra goodies after it closes, after the second chance campaign closes.
Yeah, and I'm not doing $60 commissions no more.
Yeah. see, there you go.
Get them while you can.
Get it while you can. Exactly. $60 for a commission. I mean, who charges that today? Especially if you're in the American market. No one does. Nobody. Not in America anyway. Maybe in South America. Maybe those artists, because the dollar over there is different from ours. But I mean, $60 for commissions, that you can't go wrong with that. No way. And these are ink wash, right, Gambino? Or it's gonna start black and white?
I think they'll be ink wash.
Yeah,
I think so.
okay. Well, they have it. Ink wash.
we're advertising it as Inkwash, right?
Yeah.
So it'll be Inkwash.
Yeah, we are. So yeah, I'm really proud of this story. This was definitely a challenge to write, and not so much of the challenge wasn't so much the story. The challenge was how I was going to get the character to the end of the story without succumbing to, Mary Sue elements or cliche scenarios or kind of things that are kind of implausible.
Right.
Because I really wanted to make this story grounded and kind of, I don't want to say realistic, but in the sense where the reader can suspend a little bit of their disbelief, but also at the same time not like roll their eyes when they read a certain segment where like, oh brother, it's actually very suspenseful, and it's again, it's a edge of receipt type of story, and I'm really proud at the work that we've done here, specifically Gambino, because he really did step up his game here throughout the year as he was producing the book.
Well, I had to, because the first batch of pages, I mean, it was getting to a point where like I didn't want to put the book out with the way the pages were coming out. But thankfully that's changed.
Well, it has. I feel that your enthusiasm has been reinvigorated because of your different approach to making the book. I mean,
the enthusiasm itself was never not there. I was just frustrated with myself, really. But actually, it was with Ben and Justin where I did the Inkwash for the first time.
Oh, that's right, for Spencer, right? Spencer from.
No, it was before that.
We were just sketching stuff, I think.
Oh, I see. Okay.
I was looking at something from the Northmen.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, right.
And I think Spencer's commission was the first time I tried doing the Inkwash with no heavy black ink, and that kind of started my thought process of let me try like without any black, just the line work and the Inkwash. But yeah, the first time was with Ben and Justin.
Nice, dude. All right.
Yeah.
I was there for that. I remember.
Yeah.
I'm a witness. I synced it.
You synced it.
I synced it. Let's go through your campaign, guys. Let's see.
Thank you.
Vigilant Fury 2. Or Second Chance, sorry. So your feature level, $75.
$75 gets you the physical copy of the book and a 9x12 commissioned by Mr. Gambino.
Nice.
Yes.
So you'll get a clean, fresh paper copy, by the way. All traditional art of whatever it is that you want him to draw within reason, obviously. So we don't request a George Perez-esque commission piece because that'd be ridiculous. But within reason, he'll do it, and you'll get your book plus your commission straight to your home at your doorstep. So $75. I mean, that's nothing to balk at.
Dude, that's a nice commission sample you got there too.
Thank you.
A lot of detail, man.
Yeah.
Thank you. I did that for my baby cousin's baptism. I was really happy with how it turned out.
Nice.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, those look great.
Do you have a bigger version of it down here at the bottom somewhere?
Yes, I believe so. Slightly bigger.
Yeah. Nice.
And all the perks you see, all the products in the perks, they're all available as add-ons too. So like if someone gets the featured perk and they get the commission and the book, they can add on another commission, they can add on another copy of the book, they can add on a digital copy if they want, they can add on a sketch card, art pages from the book. So everything's available as an add-on also.
Very nice.
Yeah, we're keeping this Second Chance campaign pretty simple because we want to focus on promoting the story in its final version, promoting the art in its final version, letting people know what it's going to look like, and give them a much clearer idea of what they're going to get. So,
So the book's gonna be 6x9.
yes, yeah. Unless, by the grace of God, the printing price go down and we can print bigger, but we'll see.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Very
I've
nice.
seen. I think. I'm pretty sure Wirehead was a 6x9 trade paperback,
I think it was. I think you're right. I don't know if I have
and
it out here.
from what I remember, it felt good. It was a good size.
I guess I don't. Yeah, it was a good size. Are you going to use Rob's printer?
I don't know. I've been looking at a few printers, and so far Mixum is in the lead as far as pricing. And like I've never used them myself, but I worked on a campaign where the guy used them, and the products came out great. So I know the quality is good, and they're a fairly popular printer. So yeah, I know they do good stuff. So far, their pricing is the best. I have to talk to the people who I did my sketchbook with, and if they can give me like a discount because I'm a returning customer for another big order, maybe we can use them, but I have to compare everything.
Right. Yeah, finding a printer like post-pandemic has been kind of tough.
Yeah.
Everything's been kind of tough post-pandemic.
Yeah.
I mean, the ones I use, smartpress.com, they're excellent. Best customer service I've ever dealt with. A huge array of products. Like you can print anything from them, and they do really good work. And they're still kicking, thankfully. So, but everybody's raising prices, and I don't think they're any different with that. Which it sucks for us, but it's totally understandable as a business because you got to survive.
Exactly.
But if you're ever looking for a printer, check them out.
Will do. Yeah, I'm gonna need a new printer for my next book. The guys I was using had to close down.
Oh, no way.
That's a bummer.
Who was if you don't mind me asking, who was the printer?
They were out of Ohio. They were called Page by Page Comics.
Dang.
And great guy, like great customer service. He sent me a copy of the book. I wasn't happy with it. We worked it out. And he finally sent me a second copy that looked good. And I was I'm good to go. So yeah, he was really easy to work with.
Well, that's great. That's good to hear.
Yeah.
It's a shame he had to close down shop.
Yeah, like during the pandemic, he just couldn't get a hold of the ink cartridges that he needed.
Oh, right.
Seriously?
Yeah, like
bummer.
They quadrupled in price, and he was like posting it like on Facebook. He was showing like, this is what I normally pay. This is what they are now. Like I just can't afford to keep doing this.
That's insane.
That is insane.
Yeah.
I'm trying to save up for a good, like, not one of those crazy huge printers like an industrial printer, but a professional grade photo printer.
Yeah.
So I can at least print like my prints that I sell and at least save on printing costs that way.
Yeah.
Because I think in the long run, like if I start selling more, it'll pay off eventually.
Yeah, definitely.
I have a buddy who does that, and he gets his paper, like good quality paper. He gets his ink, and he does all the prints himself, and he doesn't have to pay for a printer to print his stuff. And it's professional quality.
What kind of printer does he use? Do you know?
I think he uses the Canon Pro 100.
Okay.
Although since he's gotten it, they've added a scanner to it, which is great, but it's like almost $1,000 now.
Yeah.
And the thing I like about it is it's borderless printing, so you don't have to worry about trimming anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet, and it prints up to 13 by 19 sheets. But you can do, like, if you have a roll, you can print 13 by 39, I think it is, like a big panorama shot. Yeah.
Right. That's really cool.
That's next on my list. I've been perusing Facebook Marketplace to see if I can find any like semi-used but still working.
Yeah.
So that's the next big purchase. I just got the espresso machine for the studio for my classes.
Nice.
So, yeah. Yeah, I'm excited.
Priorities, man. Gotta have your coffee.
Yeah.
Gotta have the go juice.
It's not even
coffee
for me,
and
it's
draw.
for the classes.
Can't draw without the go juice. No, that's cool, man. How are those classes going, by the way?
Good. I'm doing one kids classes right now. The adult classes, which is the Express and Sketch that I'm calling it, is they start next weekend. So I'm really, really excited for that. And I'm teaching at actually my alma mater, the college that's like 5 minutes away from my house. So it's been good. Doing a lot of teaching this year, which I'm happy about. A lot of teaching and a lot of drawing.
Very nice. And how far along are you on the pages?
For Vigilant Fury?
For Vigilant Fury, yeah.
We got 10 pages left.
Nice.
Yeah. Almost done. I'm working on the thumbnails for the next batch. So it is going good.
I remember a long time ago when we were streaming and you were going to start drawing this. You talked about drawing like each panel individually.
I think I did a page like that on your stream too.
Yeah, how did that go?
I try a lot of different things with you guys. I don't know why. It's just you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that didn't work. That was. Yeah, I remember. I thought I was like getting in my own head. So I thought maybe drawing one page or one panel at a time, like as its own page, quote unquote, would help.
Right.
But I think it was just the inks that was messing me up. Because then, you know, as Julius can attest, like I started doing my thumbnails on the actual final pages. So the thumbnails are big. And then once he approves them, I can just draw the finals right over it. And once I took all the black out and it was just, I focused on the drawing and the line art and then the ink wash for tones, much better.
Nice.
Much happier with them. And then I add some, a little pulpy, a little bit more old school with the halftones and the paper texture. So,
okay.
I feel much better now.
Nice.
I just got to finish the damn thing.
And Julius, you're lettering? You're lettering the book?
I'm lettering the book, yes.
Nice.
And I'm trying to find a way to kind of match the style that Gambino brought to the book. So I'm not so much the words itself, but the word balloons.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm still trying to figure out how to make the word balloons kind of look like hand drawn, but not make it look too crooked, I guess. Not crooked, not so straight. So once I figure that out, then we should be good to go. But honestly, like there's not much to letter, to be honest with you. The heavy lifting really was done by Anthony here with like especially this page here you have on the screen.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of characters talking during fight scenes. That always kind of threw me off the story, you know?
Yeah.
you know what I'm talking about? You guys know what I'm saying? Some writers are good at it, some writers are not. Like Chris Claremont, I think, is one of the writers who actually could pull it off, and Peter David was another one that was able to also pull it off. But for the most part, when I see these long, like for instance, like these 4 panels right here, right? That we had the first 4 panels. Sometimes it would be like 2 word balloons on each panel, and it's like, that's cool and all, but
Yeah.
sometimes I just want to see the action. Sometimes I want a fight because a street fight, for lack of a better term in this instance, but a fight to the death is there's no talking. It's just fighting. Because especially in this case, she's trying to survive. She's just trying to freaking get by, get to the next person. But as she gets closer and closer to the end, it gets harder and harder on her to get through because obviously they wise up at some point in the story. They wise up to what's going on, and the element of surprise that she had on her side to her favor is gone. So now she has no choice but to fight, as opposed to sneaking around and doing what she was doing in the story. And so yeah, I there's not much lettering on this. There's not a lot of talking. The only talking that happens is with Milo. Milo is the main bad guy, and also when he barks orders to his crew. That's about it. Everything else is just her showcasing her ability to escape her captivity, and not just for herself, but for the other people involved, the other victims that are in that ship. So yeah, the lettering is going great, smooth, thankfully. And yeah, like I said, I can't wait to get you guys get you guys this book, because it really is. It's 80 pages. 80 pages does sound daunting in a lot, but when you get through it, it's gonna feel like a 22-page issue of a comic book.
It's a page turner.
It is a page turner.
And sure. Ben, I don't know if you remember, but Milo is Justin.
That's right. I do remember
that. That's right. He did mention that to me. And I really do like Milo. He's a great bad guy, but the reason why I like him is because he's like he obviously he's a bad guy for what he's doing, but it's almost like a job for him. It's almost like he's just like damn it, but he's just doing his job. Obviously for the wrong reasons. I mean, that's a terrible situation. That's a terrible thing to do, to be a human trafficker. But in the story, the way I present him, he's the guy who's trying to keep everything intact, and it all falls apart because of Angela.
Very nice. What program are you using to do the lettering?
Oh, Illustrator.
Illustrator. Okay.
Yeah, I use Illustrator, and I haven't had a chance to re-download it on my laptop because I just haven't had the chance to. But I also used Font Labs to create my own font.
Nice.
Oh, that's cool. What's it called?
Font Labs.
Never heard of that.
Yeah, I never heard of it either. That's cool.
Yeah, it's a great company. It's pretty much a tradesman, like a company that does specializes in lettering, not comic book lettering specifically, but just lettering, like for graphic designers and whatnot. So that way you don't have to, if you don't want to pay for your license fees for fonts, you can just make up your own font, and it generates the font for you and adds it to the to your programs like Microsoft Word or Illustrator or Photoshop.
That's cool.
Very cool. So it's an AI font generator.
I was just gonna say, like, what's the deal, man?
No,
I see how it is.
You literally write with your hand, you scan it, and then it puts it into the program for you, and then kerning. I think that's the term. Yeah. Then you have to like fix all that before you make it into the official font.
Yeah,
that's cool.
It's a great program. I highly recommend. If you're a letterer, and I highly recommend you invest in that program. It's a really great program.
That's really cool. That sounds cool. I have to look that up. Font Labs.
Yeah, Font Labs.
Okay. Interesting.
Very nice, guys. This looks good. I'm excited to read this.
Me too.
Yeah, me three.
So, Julius, are you going to be adding like sound effects, or?
I thought about it, but honestly, I don't want to take away from Gambino's art, to be honest, because he did his own, as you see there in the middle panel there.
Yeah,
he did his own sound effects. So I feel like if I add them, it might, I don't want to say take away, but it might jar the reader. Kind of like, wait, this lettering looks different from this one, and I kind of want to keep it steady as she goes.
Yeah,
as the phrase goes. Just
hey, I just had a thought, Julius.
Yeah.
If there's ever a panel or a page that you come across that needs a sound effect, I might be able to overlay it if you want to add one in. I'll just do it by hand.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
I didn't even think of that because I don't know if I added every sound effect that was in the script. I added a lot of them because I like to add it in sometimes. The designer part of my brain likes to put it in. But yeah, let me know.
Yeah, it's just like, for instance, that first panel there with the bullets shooting off. I feel like the line itself does the job. And you really don't need the SFX there, in my opinion. I mean, I could be wrong.
Yeah.
Of course, other letterers will disagree with me. But when I was looking at it, when I was looking at these pages, I was like, well, I mean, I really don't need it. It kind of is self-explanatory to add, all the SFX, when I kind of wanted to give, I wanted to capture that V for Vendetta approach, which is they use no SFX in that book. So if you read that book again, there's probably like a few here and there, but for the most part, there is no typical what most comic books today have, which is the kaboom sound and the and all that stuff.
Like that stuff.
Which works. I don't mind it. But for V for Vendetta, it worked without it because the art itself conveyed the what Alan Moore wanted to convey, which is it's a big explosion. Just draw a big explosion. Make sure you draw like an explosion in the middle or like close to the apex of the explosion, right? Which is the big smoke and the ball of fire that's about to erupt into the sky. Yeah, and that's what I wanted to do here as well with Vigilant Fury is have that same idea of like the reader will pick up on it. Readers today are seasoned readers, I guess. They know what a comic book reads like, so the images can speak for themselves. Yeah. And, I mean, like this page here, for instance, you know exactly what's going on. It's the guy shoots, runs out of bullets, changes, and then she jumps out to attack him.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Gambino. Okay.
No, I was just gonna say real quick, like for this page, the click is kind of necessary because that's an indicator that okay, he ran out of bullets, and it's how else would you show that? Like, you could show him like pulling the trigger and nothing coming out, but something like that, like where it's a smaller action, the sound is more recognizable than the action. But like you're saying, Julius, with an explosion or like the guns firing, if you're able to show the action, then the words or the sounds aren't necessary because it's the whole principle of like, don't draw and write the same thing on the page.
Exactly.
So, your captions shouldn't be, if you have a caption box, it shouldn't be exactly what you're looking at in the image and vice versa. So, yeah. And I've explained on other streams and stuff that like my job is to force Julius to not have to put any words in. Yeah.
And he did a great job doing that.
Yeah, he did.
So, because my approach when I developed the story was I wanted it to be with as minimum amount of narration boxes as possible, because I really wanted to capture that feeling of desperation, especially when she wakes up and she's inside the container and she like the reader has no idea what's going on, what's happening. Then when you do discover what's happened to her, now you're scared for her. So we're essentially living through her. Like we're scared for her because we don't know what's going to happen. And she tries to figure out, okay, how the hell am I going to get out of here? And how am I going to get all these other victims with me? How am I going to take them with me? And as the story progresses, and she's doing all these, I don't want to say amazing things, but she's doing all these things to get ahead and closer to her liberation. You start to learn, you start to kind of slowly realize, wait a second, is she just a regular person, or is she someone who's skilled? And eventually you find out that she's actually a government agent.
That's awesome. Yeah, I was gonna say, just looking at this page, like what I hear is the storm.
Yeah. The rain, right? All the rain.
Yeah, like I can hear like the rain hitting the metal containers.
Yeah.
I can hear the thunder in the background going off, like probably muting the sound of the gunfire during this fight. Like that's what I hear when I see this visually.
Thanks, Benny.
Yeah, no problem, man.
Great job, Anthony. See, you got it.
Well, that college paid off.
Yeah. I also gave Anthony a few references too from I think it was some Wolverine pages that I found online, and I was like, hey, here's a reference if you need it.
Oh, for the heavy rain, yeah, that was
the heavy rain, so that way you can have an idea of like, because I know you have your own style of drawing, Anthony. So yeah. I made sure to say, hey, don't I'm not saying to copy it. I'm just saying here's a reference, so you could have a reference as to how you could get that. Like you said, like the fact that you mentioned that, Ben, how you when you see the page, you hear the rain hitting the metal, and the sand, the lightning bolts, the thunder. That's exactly what I wanted to convey, and Anthony did a brilliant job doing that here.
Thanks.
Yeah, the visual storytelling is great.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah. That's always been what I have the most fun with. And I've said this a few times. I don't remember to whom, but I had an assignment in grad school to do we had to do a short story. I think it was 5 to 8 pages. And the challenge was to have no words. They had to be completely silent. So we had to rely exclusively on visual storytelling. We had to rely on pacing, on action, what shape panels, body language, tone, drama, all that stuff. So, and it really pushed me to practice that. And I had so much fun with it that I for the rest of grad school, I did that for myself on every project. Like I gave myself that challenge. I was like, all right, pretend you're not doing any words. Pretend there's going to be no words. What are you going to do? And now I started taking that into my professional work, and it's so much fun.
Yeah,
it's so much fun. And like I guess that's like men are kind of hardwired to problem solve, and I think that's I don't know what the word is, but like that's my highest version of it. Like I like problem solving for this stuff.
Right.
And I like solving these problems. It's a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah. No, it shows. Definitely shows that you had a lot of fun doing this. This center panel is awesome. I love this.
Man. That was another challenge, because in the script, Julius was like, he's walking through, he gets stabbed in the shoulder out of nowhere, another knife hits him in the leg out of nowhere, and then he fires all over the place. And I was like, how the hell am I going to draw that? Like,
see, in my head, when I was writing the script, because for those of you who don't know, the script was written very loosely, and that was by choice, because I always like, whenever I work with an artist, I always like to ask them, how would you like the script to be written? Would you like it loose in terms of you direct it, I just write what happens, and you figure out the camera angle, you figure out the panel, you figure out all that stuff? Or would you like me to write that detail in the script? Because I could do both. I'm okay with working on both sides of that coin. So Gambino said, give me the loose script. I want to fucking handle this. And I was like, all right, handle it then. And so when I wrote this page, in my head, I was thinking, oh, he's probably going to draw it with like, so, there's 3 panels on top, right? And there's that big that big white panel there.
Yeah.
I was thinking 2 or 3 more panels there in the middle of him shooting one angle and another angle. And then that was my thinking when I was writing it. But again, I'm not the artist, so that's why it's great working with artists, because then they'll figure out, no, actually, I have a better way of doing that. And Anthony came up with a way better idea that I didn't even think of. And I was like, oh, yeah, of course you can draw it that way. Why wouldn't I think that?
Yeah, because
it came out great. It was we worked on this a little bit because he gave me the sketch, and then we went back and forth, and then finally he was like, what about this? And I was like, yeah, this is perfect. I like that. This really does showcase that he's like losing his mind, like, where the hell, kind of like that. Like, where are you? And shooting all over the place, like that trope that happens in like Batman movies or that kind of thing. That's what I wanted to capture here.
Yeah, and what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, because like initially I had the thought of drawing a bunch of panels of him shooting all over the place, but that would have slowed it down.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to be a quick fire, like you said, where are you? Like freaking out.
Yeah.
And boop, 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 boop.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was fun. It was a really fun challenge.
They did great.
Thank you.
Great. I love the panel after that too, where it's all empty and quiet, and he's by himself.
Yeah.
On his knee, hurting, bleeding, scared.
You have to show that he's isolated, because it adds to the fact that he is alone. But where the hell did those knives come from?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun.
That's awesome. I also like the mid-ground, foreground, background you've got going on in most of your panels. It creates this depth.
Yeah.
And like you see the character there. Like it just grounds the visuals.
Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it. That's all this stuff you're talking about is stuff that I've been really working on over the last year. So I'm happy that it's showing.
Oh, definitely. It's something that a lot of artists like forget about. Like they just want to focus on the image itself and not ground the image the way you have.
It's so important, man. And I'm trying to teach my students like these little, because I'm not like by any means I'm not the best at perspective. Like I still struggle a lot with it, but I've learned certain tricks that, like you're saying, it helps ground the figures and helps ground the panels. I'm trying to teach that to them now, because a lot of the perspective teachings are like, it's the same, draw your horizon line, draw your vanishing point, draw all the lines going from it. And it's like, okay, yeah, that's what it is. But there are other ways to put figures in there.
Yeah.
And I don't remember where I learned it. I think it was in grad school. I don't know. I wish I knew so I could give whoever credit, but like someone told me, oh no, like when you're establishing your perspective and you draw your eye line, the eye line is going to run through the same part of the body of every figure, no matter how far away they are.
Right.
I was like, what? Why doesn't everyone just start with that? Like, that's so much easier.
Yeah.
Right.
So, but yeah, I've been having fun with that. And I also told Julius, once I went to this style where there's like no black, and I really pushed myself to focus on the actual drawing, I also started thinking of like, all right, I'm not going to try to make this ship look like a legitimate container ship, because those things are insane. Like all the engine room, the boiler room, all that, the control rooms, it's craziness. So I was like, okay, I'm going 80s action or 80s sci-fi movie version and like making it up.
Yeah.
So everything starts with shapes. Everything is combining a bunch of different shapes together and then figuring it out from there.
There you go. That's how it goes.
Yeah.
There's a famous story of Stanley Kubrick designing the interior of the B-52 planes for Dr. Strangelove. And I don't know if this is true or not, but according to the lore, he based off the design off of a brochure that the Air Force would always release every year to the public. So the cover of the brochure that they released to the public every year was two pilots, it's just the typical pose where they're like talking together or whatever, or like they're working, and in the background you see like a little slivers of like the machinery that they're using behind them. And Stanley Kubrick took that and he just took kind of like copy and pasted it essentially, and that's how he designed the interior of the B-52 planes in Doctor Strangelove.
Wow,
That's awesome.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
And supposedly the Air Force, I guess, reached out to him and says and asked him like, "Hey, do you have someone on the inside? Because some of that stuff is pretty accurate."
Wow.
And it's just, Stanley Kubrick was just a freaking genius when they came to that. He just however, I don't know how he was able to figure it out, but he would just figure it out and it worked out. But yeah, it's when you told me that, Anthony, about you're just gonna make it up, I was like, that's perfect. That's the way it should be, because that's what artistry and craftsmanship is all about. Because like this 9-panel grid here, like you really do capture all that in this 9-panel grid.
Yeah,
and it works, because they're the ship itself becomes the character here. For me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's grimy, dirty, unkempt almost, and it's for me, I take it as a symbolic of their enterprise. They're grimy, slimy people, that are involved in this terrible thing.
Well,
but yeah, this 9-panel grid was fantastic. I really was proud of how this one came out, especially with Anthony. You really did a great job with this one.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, that fourth panel is really creepy with the box of teddy bears.
Yeah,
because you know where those came from.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you'll see those again in the story. It's you might miss it. It's like a little moment, and it's not part of the script. It's something I put in, but you'll see. Maybe we'll talk about it in the backstage. But
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of 9-panel grids. I've always loved 9-panel grids. They don't get used as often as they should. Right. They're very effective, especially if you want to tell a story or convey something. And I know a lot of it's gimmicky. A lot of people use the 9-panel grid as a gimmick, but in reality, they can be really well utilized for your story. Like in this instance right here.
Yeah. And I think because this was going back to what Julius said earlier about asking what kind of script I wanted, and I said, give me the loosest script you can give me. This was one of the it might have been the only page.
I think so.
It might have been the only page where he wrote 9-panel grid.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, because he left everything else up to me, I know he really wants this. And I was like, oh, man, please don't be a talking page.
It was, but it isn't.
No, right, exactly. So he wrote I want to see every crew member going through different parts of the ship. And I was like, yeah, beautiful. That's when you use a 9-panel grid. Yeah. That's when you do this. I don't want to see a bunch of friggin' heads.
Yeah. Yeah. Talking.
Yeah. Sorry.
Your Frank Miller Dark Knight Returns panels.
Well, that's different. See, these are where you break the rules, because that was for news anchors, and it was on a TV, so that's all you see anyway, right?
No, yeah, during that time it was very innovative, but now it's kind of become cliche. Now it's kind of got to that point where it's cliche now to do that. But I want to do something different here, and Anthony is right. When I wrote the script, this was the only page where I was like, it has to be this way. It has to, because I got to give the reader a context of where these characters are at, so that way when they see Angela do what she does, they have an idea of where she's at on the ship. And also, there's chapter breaks in the book as well. So there's also a visual there for the reader where they're gonna kind of have an idea of where everyone is at. So there's that that's gonna play a factor as well. But yeah, this page here was definitely well done here.
And also the important part about choosing the 9-panel grid for this page is it's meant to show that this is all happening at the same time.
Yes.
So they're all in different parts of the ship at the same time, communicating with each other.
Yeah.
So that was
this is where I established that they have in the story. I'll tell you because it's not a spoiler. Milo is pissed.
Justin.
Yeah, Justin. Milo is pissed, or Justin. Milo is pissed off here because he finds out that, a few of his men are dead. They don't know why. They don't know who did it, and they have this idea. Oh, maybe they rebelled. Maybe the kids that we took rebelled and they got lucky. So now we're gonna go and comb the ship. And we're gonna go comb the ship. And I want you guys to check in with me when you pass a hall. So here's the first check-in of that combing of the ship. So here they're all communicating where they're at.
Yeah, it really works for what's happening.
And there's a funny story too. I'm in the DM group, and there's one individual in the group who kind of, I don't want to say he went on a tirade, but he was mentioning how much he hates 9-panel grids and how stupid they are, and how it's worthless. We shouldn't be using them anymore. It just wastes time. He was just going off, right? And so as he went off, a few other people were agreeing with them, and I posted this picture, and I went like this. And he was like, "Oh damn, I keep forgetting. I gotta watch what I'm saying." But I told him it's all good, man. Like some people don't like them, some people do. I like them. I like 9-panel grids. They can be very useful.
Yeah.
In telling your story. But if you don't like them, hey, that's good. There is no right way of doing comics. The only right way of doing comics is to make sure the reader is able to follow your story. And if you want to tell your story with 2-page spreads for the whole book, hey, if you could pull it off, more power to you, man. Because that would be a feat in and of itself. And I know Frank Miller currently for his Ronin book, I think he's doing that. I don't think all the pages are 2-page spreads, but he's utilizing the 2-page spreads more and more with his Ronin book that he's doing now currently.
I think you might be right.
And that's great. That's like, yeah, that's awesome. You could, comics, can be approached however way you want, and as long as you can make it work, then go for it. Don't ever let anyone tell you you can't do it that way. You do it that way and see if it works, because you never know, it might work, and sometimes it may not work either. So it's a risk. Everything's a risk, right? When you want to execute a story.
Yeah, and not every artist is capable of using a 9-panel grid. I think that's exactly the thing. They use it wrong, and so it puts a lot of people off. But someone like Gambino, who's very design-minded, can pull this off. Like I've just been admiring like each individual panel. Like I don't know if you can see my arrow on the screen here, but just seeing like this dark object up here and the way it travels down. And then the other side, you get the same thing to frame it in. And then you get your character here, your character here. I mean, that's just great design. Composition. This next panel, this diagonal composition, I love that.
Thanks, buddy.
It's awesome here. I mean, the way you got these walls on each side, dark, kind of framing in this white floor. Then you got your character right there. It just really pops the character out. Same here. There's like a design that's like diagonal here because you got the guy's face, the phone in his hand, and then your eye comes down to the teddy bears. Yeah, I'm just looking at each individual panel and just admiring the design work you did here.
Thank you, brother. This
is like a Fibonacci spiral design. Like your eye just goes around the room here.
Yep. All intentional. It's all stuff I look at and stuff I've been teaching this semester too, which has been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Like this, the Express and Sketch classes, I'm teaching this stuff with the old monster movies. And I'm so excited for it. I'm so excited.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's always that. I think that's when things started to really click for me in college, because I started as a graphic design major, and then I double majored in illustration because I fell in love with it. But when I started illustrating, my design work got better because all these principles started kind of coming together and like making more sense when they work together. And I've been like a pig in poop ever since.
Now this book looks fantastic. Gambino, you did a
man.
great job, man.
Thank you. I appreciate
I will
it.
attest, it is fantastic because I have most of the pages, and yeah, you guys are in for a treat for sure. One of the things that indie comics does suffer from is that I will say that there is a lot of love in making comics in the indie scene, a lot of love, but there also needs to be a certain skill set as well that comes with that.
Yeah,
and you know, in this day and age, we're in competition with not just ourselves, but with the big two, Marvel, DC, Image, Dark Horse, etc. And the readers are in a lot of ways spoiled, right? Because they always will compare your book to what they get at the comic shops every week. Does his book, reach the same level of skill and talent and quality with the books I get weekly at my comic shop? Marvel, DC, Image, etc.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of there's a few, don't get me wrong, there's exceptions in the indie scene that actually do reach that level, but I think most of the indie scene needs to start realizing that just because you put your love and effort into it, you have to recognize, okay, does it deliver? Does it deliver the dialogue, narration, the story? Because I have come across some indie books where I backed them, I read them, and I went, oh gosh. I'm not gonna say who it is, but I have where I'm like, oh dude, like, and I can see the love. Right? But the execution was like, oh, ouch, dude. And I always look at who's the editor of the book. Did they have an editor? And a lot of them don't have editors. And it's like, dude, you need to have an editor to tell you, at least either to tell you, hey, this isn't working, or you have to leave your ego at the door and listen to constructive criticism, because just because you think it's great doesn't mean it's great. That's why you always need an outsider looking in to tell you, hey, this isn't really working. Anthony has done that to me a few times where he point things out to me and I'm like, oh yeah, I didn't even think of that. And that's the way that's how you get better. You have to, again, like I said, leave your ego at the door and recognize that you are competing amongst other pros. If you want to consider yourself a professional, then you must present your material like a professional and deliver it like a professional.
Yeah.
And so I don't want to blow air up my own ass, but I think I wrote a pretty solid story here. And Anthony is delivering a solid pages to match the story. And the fact that we both have the love and the skill set, because I've been writing comics for a long time now. I think at this point I should be good. I should be, okay. I've had my fair share of working with the editors who have told me to my face, this isn't good, this isn't working. You need to work on A, B, and C. D, E, and F is pretty good, but you need to work on A, B, and C in order for D, E, and F to match the overall quality of what you want to present in your story.
Yep.
And forever grateful for those few editors who were bold enough to hurt my feelings, because my feelings were hurt. It did burn. It did hurt. Ouch. Right? When you write something, you think, yeah, it's just great. It's gonna be fantastic, and you give it to someone to tell you it's not great, dude. It's not fantastic. And here's why. Here's why. And then they give you the list, and you're like, oh, you feel this cringe, like sunken feeling in your stomach, like, oh gosh, I'm not that great. And I'm not that fantastic. But you recognize it's necessary to grow, right? Like there's some plants in the chaparral section of nature that needs fire to germinate. It needs to burn to germinate. And I think artists are those that they have that same kind of energy. Sometimes you need fire to germinate your great ideas and to deliver great stories. Frank Miller, like going back to Frank Miller, he's today considered one of the greats, right? One of the best. But at one point in his career, he was just another run-of-the-mill writer and artist, just someone who was employed. And then one day, it clicked for him. It just clicked for him. There's a famous story where Jim Shooter said he was in his office, working his thing, and then Frank Miller entered his office and like told him, "I get it now. We know the stories and we tell it to the readers. I get it." And he left the office. And Jim Shooter was like, "Oh, okay." I'm like, "All right, yeah, that's the point." But then, not long after that, Born Again, he developed Born Again.
Yeah.
So it just sometimes you got to reach that you got to break that barrier of ego, where you think you're hot stuff, but then the moment when you meet someone who tells you, "No, dude, you're not, and here's why," then take it and then digest it, let it burn, right? Let it burn a little bit, and then grow after that. And Vigilant Fury is going to be a book that I think it's a marathon. I call it a marathon book, and the reason for that is because even though right now it's not hitting fire like most other indie books that are out there that hit big numbers the first time you launch or whatever, I think down the line more and more readers are gonna, especially the backers who backed the book the first time when we launched it, and now once they read it, they're gonna, I'm hoping anyway, they tell their friends, "Dude, this book here is like, you got to read this. This is fucking crazy." And hopefully it'll grow, and that's what I'm hoping for, especially the aftermarket too, because like I said earlier, Anthony and I are planning on shopping it around and see where we can get this in bookstores, in comic shops, and not only comic shops but bookstores too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if nothing happens, then we'll do it ourselves, like we've been doing.
Exactly. Because we're passionate, we're passionate about making comics, and we
and
there's
stubborn.
no shame in trying to earn a living.
Let's be honest, we're both pretty stubborn.
But yeah, that was my little rant that I wanted to get off my chest there.
Oh yeah, that's good. Now I had Bancroft on a couple of weeks ago, I think, and I mean he was saying the same thing. Like the big thing about indie comics is we need to start using editors. We need to start doing better.
Yeah. Because like I said, I got a few of those books and I went, ooh.
Yeah.
I went, yikes! All right.
Yeah,
I paid $35 for this. Okay, then.
That's where my head was with the black and white pages. Like I didn't have the ego. I had the opposite. I had the imposter syndrome. I'm like, I don't even want to put this book out anymore.
Yeah.
But now I'm happy with it. Definitely still room for growth, but it feels more like it's something that I'm proud to put out, and that I'm excited to put out. Because in the beginning, when I was doing the black and white pages, I was excited to do the pages. I wasn't excited to put it out. It didn't feel right. It didn't feel good enough, even if it is an indie book. But now I think there's something there. Maybe it's the start of something. I don't know, but
and this is your first book too, right?
Yeah,
and you're doing a fantastic job for this being your first book. This is great, man.
Thank you.
Trial by fire, man.
It really has been.
Trial by fire.
Yeah.
And you know what? You know what's funny? Geronimo has been telling me that since pretty much since the day we met, where he was like, "Listen, you need your first project, your first book. It's gonna suck. You're gonna hate it. You need to go through it. It needs to happen. You're gonna figure so much stuff out, and then after that, it'll be smooth sailing." And to his credit, he was spot on, because everything he said that probably would happen is exactly what happened. And very thankful to not only the backers who have been patient, but to Julius, who has also been patient. Because if he was, someone who wasn't able to let go of the ego, then I could have been working with someone who was like, "You need to get your friggin' pages in now at this deadline."
Right.
And I wouldn't have made the changes. I wouldn't have gone through all the stylistic changes. Yeah. And it would have been a crappy book.
And you would have been miserable.
And I would have been miserable. Yeah, probably. Yeah. And then I would have felt like garbage for putting out a product that I didn't think was worthy of the backer's money or time. And then I don't know, like I wouldn't have felt right trying to get more work, if I'm being honest. Like I wouldn't have felt deserving of it. But now I'm really excited to finish this and to work on other things.
Yeah, a lot of things fell into place for us. I feel, thankfully, as you said, as you mentioned, Anthony. Yeah, I've been through a lot of projects that fell through. I've been involved in a lot of projects that started up strong, showed promise, and I was hard at work developing the best damn story I could, and then all of a sudden in the middle of it it always fell apart for whatever reason. Things out of my control, mostly things out of my control, because I was I was ready, right? I was ready to go. I was like, let's go, let's get to work, let's do this, let's get our names out there. And then outside of that, it was like, well, what? Oh, thank you, C.
Yeah, thanks, C.
And to add to what you said about the patience thing and not having ego, that I did learn over the years to get rid of my ego and realize that comic book collaboration, the production of a comic book is a lot more than the corporate structure of here's your deadline, meet it, you can't meet it, you're out. Or not only you're out, you're going to deliver subpar work. Especially if you can't deal with especially if you're trying to if you're figuring it out like Anthony was. And the fact that he did, I feel actually kind of I feel honored to witness it, because that's great to see his growth. And the reason why I picked Anthony to begin with was really because of his perspective. It really was that the samples he showed me. And then when I checked out his Twitter account, when he reached out to me, when I put out when I sent out the feelers about looking for an artist for a project, his was the only one where I was like, okay, his style may not be what I'm looking for, but I can see that he knows perspective, and that's what's going to be important for this book. But look at you laugh now, Anthony, but look at the page that's on the screen right now.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite pages.
Yeah, but look at that perspective.
Yeah,
I in a lot of ways I knew, even though like you said, you were figuring out like, okay, Hard Blacks, you weren't really happy with it, and you changed it again, and then you finally found your way, your style.
Yeah.
And I knew again, I knew it was your first book, so I knew, okay, I got to give this guy a lot of leeway because it is his first book. It'd be unfair of me to demand, hey, where are my pages, dude? Like, I'm paying you money. Where are my damn pages? We said this date. We got to do it. But I figured, you know what? Backers, the backer culture, the crowdfunding culture, the people who back your book are very gracious, especially if you communicate with them. That's what I've discovered.
Yeah.
If you communicate with them and let them know what's going on, more like 99% of the time, they'll be okay with it. And so I figured, okay, it's okay. If we're going to be late, it's going to be fine. All we have to do is just let them know. And we did. A few backers did reach out to me personally on Twitter. They DM me, and they missed the update that we put on the page. I'm assuming they didn't go look or they didn't get the email. And I sent them some of these pages that you see here on the screen. And I explained to them, I'm sorry. I know we said we're going to deliver on this time, but we decided to go a different direction, creative wise, style wise, and here's what we're going to do going forward. And I sent them a few of these pages, sample pages of the ink wash, and they're like, "Oh, dude, this looks so much better. It's all good. Thank you for letting me know." So I was like, "Okay, great. They're digging it." And that's a running joke too that Anthony told me when we decided to change it from the harsh black and whites to the ink wash, was that Geronimo told them, what are they gonna do? They're gonna get mad at you for making the book look better.
Right.
Like, come on, man, just change it. Let's just change it, and they'll appreciate it. And those two people who reached out to me, they appreciated it. They're like, "Oh, okay, great. This looks fantastic, man. Yeah, I can't wait. Thank you for letting me know." And that was the end of it. And we have not received any requests for refunds, thankfully. So they've been patient. They really have been patient, and I think they have been receptive to the new approach. Because I mean,
so.
just look at the damn page, man. It looks fantastic.
Yeah,
I think, sorry, Ben, go ahead, man. Sorry.
Oh, you're fine. I was gonna say, drawing 80 pages, that's like drawing 4 comic books, honestly.
Yeah.
You're gonna grow so much within that space of time. Your style is gonna change. You're gonna find your voice in those 80 pages. That this first book is really like your first 4 books.
Yeah, that's true. That's true too. But yeah, it's a learning process. And I think too, like the first batch of pages, like I was looking at a few artists like all the time, and I feel like I was trying to emulate them too much. But this feels a little bit like, for the first time, it feels like, right, maybe this is me, like this is in my work. I'm still, there's still stuff to figure out, but yeah, I'm much happier with this. Because it's like, I've liked, like I talk about Tim Sale all the time. He's my favorite artist of all time, because he's one of the few big professionals that I know of, who I've seen talk about, studying American illustration, which has always been something that I've liked to look at too. And it's something that I feel like is missing in comic book art, because everyone thinks, comics, it should be like this boom, pow, but this big bombastic action stuff. But there's a technique and there's an elegance in like, I don't want to say old school, but like a classical, traditional American illustration. Yeah. Because it comes from Renaissance art. It comes from film and cinematography, and it's in my opinion the apex of visual storytelling. And I think it's our job as comic book artists is to take those principles and translate it onto paper and give people a new way of looking at this stuff.
Absolutely.
And Tim Sale always talks about that. He spoke about, studying American illustration. It is more than evident in his work. Like to me is the best, I'll say, a director of comics, up there with Mobius, in my opinion. But the one thing that I've always loved, aside from that, is his whimsical approach and his kind of quirkiness and his characterizations. Yeah. And I was trying to like emulate him directly with the blacks too, the heavy inks. But again, I always end up talking about Geronimo, but he said, he was like, he would look at my work and he'd be like, man, like there's something there with your line art. Like your line work is pretty damn good. I'm like, yeah, I know, but I like the drama from the inks. Like I love that stuff. And he's like, all right. And then I showed him this stuff and he was like, I told you. So
sometimes you just gotta listen to your peers.
That's right.
Yeah, I know. But
well, I'm excited for this book, guys. This looks fantastic.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
There's Justin.
And there's Justin.
There's Justin.
I really love this page too. This is one of my favorite pages, actually, because it was fun to letter. It was fun to position the lettering. You'll see once the lettering is done and the book is done what I'm talking about. But he drew these panels in a way where once I did the first round of lettering, because the way I like to letter is I like to add the dialogue first and position them, in the dead space, so that way I know where I could put my balloons at. And I was like, oh, that let's see, 1, 2, 3, that fourth panel there where he has his index finger pointing up.
Yeah.
It was empty because I had fit everything else in the first 3 panels, and I was like, oh, I can add more stuff here. And so I was able to add another blurb there that what he says, and it totally added another layer to this whole scene here. But yeah, I really do love this whole sequence. It was fantastic. It's his as I wrote in the script, his kitchen nightmare moment with like a Gordon Ramsay. His Gordon Ramsay moment. Because in the scene, the page prior, the crew is complaining. They're kind of like moaning and groaning that they have to comb the ship, and half of those people they already worked a 12-hour shift, so they're tired. So they're kind of like, oh, come on, can we just, and then that's when he does his Gordon Ramsay speech there. Puts them on their place. That's what they're all standing all straight now, like, oh crap.
Yeah, nice. And the page, but they're also not, like, half of them are moaning and groaning, and half of them are kind of just not paying attention.
Yeah.
Like one's looking around in the air, one's on his phone, one's sipping coffee, one's yawning. So he's telling them like something's going wrong, and they're completely just ignoring him because they're tired or they're just lazy goons.
Yeah.
Right.
And then he flips out. And the flipping out part was fun to draw too. The leaping over the desk.
I was gonna ask, is that the scene where he's leaping over the desk?
Yeah.
That's the one. Yeah.
This was and this one's like extra special because it's the first page that I did this style in.
Okay. Yeah, it looks great, man.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, look at all that detail, man. That's just a lovely detail. Very, even though it's not like it's not I guess the center focus, you can still see it. You still see it and like find all this stuff behind the characters.
Yeah.
That's a mirror, right? Is that a wall size mirror?
It's actually a big painting.
It's a painting. Okay. Well, there you go. So he's that big painting. I mean, it's just the design work here has been phenomenal for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's always cool to me when I see a comic book artist who has design experience, because you see those design elements, not just in the composition, but just in the details like that. David Asia is one of my favorite comic book artists, and he has such a phenomenal grasp of design. The way he does his layouts,
bro.
It's amazing.
It's phenomenal, and his covers too. I don't remember what I did exactly, but I remember like working on some of his stuff, and everything was just phenomenal.
Yeah, just very strong design elements in his artwork.
And I think he was one of the artists who did his own typography on his covers.
Oh, did he?
I think so. I hope I'm not misremembering, but I think because I think he was one of the artists where like there was always a few where if we saw them on the schedule, like, all right, that's going to be an easy one because we just have to put the Marvel brick on it and the UPC and send it out. Because they do everything themselves.
Wow.
And it's like, yeah, do it. Like,
yeah, he's one of my favorite artists. He's fantastic. And I can definitely see you going that route eventually, like growing into that type of artist where you start to play with like the borders and your panel layouts.
You think so?
I think so. Not his style. Like, I'm not gonna say like you're gonna draw just like his style, but
no,
he's so unique as far as his panel layouts go, that I could see you doing that because you do it within your panel work, like inside the panel borders. But I could see you if you wanted to, and it was something you started to think about playing it with like the whole panel design.
Maybe. I've always been a pretty like, I want my panels to be rectangles. Like I want the compositions to do all the talking, but maybe, who knows, man. I mean, I never thought I'd be working like this, so who knows. This might be your Geronimo moment where you're like, I told you.
This is awesome, guys. I'm excited.
Me too, man.
What's the goal date now, I guess, to have it all done?
January.
I think January, yeah.
January? Okay.
Shooting for January.
Hopefully by January, we have the book comes back from at least we have to talk about it about the what do you call it, the proof copy of the book. So hopefully we have the book ready to be shipped by January.
Yeah. It's doable.
Nice. Well, we're like an hour and a half already, guys.
Damn.
Yeah, no, it flew by. So just real quick, what's next for you guys? What's next for you, Julius? What are you writing next?
I have a one shot. I have a 28-page one shot that I want to produce. I don't want to give away too much details to what the story is about, but I am really proud of it, and I'm hoping I could get that one up and going. Ghetto Dragon, the new artist of the Ghetto Dragon, kind of went MIA for a bit there.
Oh, no.
I didn't really hear from him for a while, which is because the Ghetto Dragon Kickstarter was supposed to launch back in July, and right when I was about to launch it, the artist kind of disappeared. He didn't respond to my emails, and I kind of freaked out. And I said, "Well, I can't launch this now," and promised delivery date, and you know, what if I never hear from this guy ever again? You know, I'm going to have to start from scratch again. So I freaked out and I held off on it. And then he finally got back to me about, I think about a month ago now, and told me that he had to step away from drawing to get a real job for a while because the money was running low. Yeah. And he's back. He was able to save enough money now, and he's ready to get back to drawing. So he's been drawing some more pages. So now I'm working on that. So hopefully, Ghetto Dragon, I could launch that. It's also a second chance campaign in a lot of ways, but it won't be. It's more for helping me produce the first storyline, which is No Good Deed, which is I want it to be about 6 issues.
Okay.
And so he's currently drawing issue 4 because I have the first 3 issues done, with the exception of the colors. There's probably about 8 pages left to color for the 3rd issue. So, yeah, I have to, get that Kickstarter up and going, and hopefully I can get that one funded. And if I do, then, I'll have that ready to go maybe by the middle of next year, printed and shipped out. And again, same thing with Vigilant Fury. Find the publisher. Since I have 6 issues, find the publisher and see if anyone is willing to pick that up. And after that, I don't know, man. Like I'm a little burnt out, to be honest with you.
Really?
Yeah. I finally been burnt out. I'm finally getting burnt out. It's been a nice 3-year run, and I'm finally feeling burnt out. So I guess I should be proud of myself for that.
Why do you think that is?
It's because things are moving slow, and I have all these ideas.
Mm-hmm.
All these stories in my hard drive, just collecting digital dust.
Yeah.
And Anthony and I are gonna hopefully work on another project after this, called Samuel Zeon PI, and it's a cool a story about a demon hunter who hunts demons, but he's not hunting them for the sake of goodness. He's hunting them because it's out of obligation. He's obligated to do it. He's forced to do it. And so it's a nice trope of like this guy. It's almost like a disgruntled employee having to do a job. That's the approach of the character. And so there's that. Hopefully we get the details out, ironed out for that one. I might just focus on editing work going forward. I think. Am
I doing the one shot first?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I have to talk to you about that because the artist did get back to me.
Oh, it was that. Okay, yeah, it was that.
Yeah, remember I told you I was waiting for the artist to get back to me.
Yeah. Okay.
But I might stick with editing work because I've been currently I'm the editor of the Kryptonos comic book for 656 Comics, and I have actually been having a blast like doing that. And I kind of feel like, maybe I should be the since earlier I talked about indie comics not really being up to par. I should be that editor, that guy. Hey, indie comic book creators,
there you go.
Hire me and I'll tell you exactly how I feel about your story.
That's not a bad idea, man.
And hopefully I could get hired on some stuff, because I do really enjoy doing that. I do enjoy helping fellow writers and artists see what they can't see when because every creator has goggles on when they work on their own stuff.
Right.
You're either too insecure or you're too secure, and you got to have a healthy dose of a little bit of both, right? You got to have a little bit of insecureness, so that way, if someone, like for instance, like Anthony's case, Robert Geronimo kept telling him, "No, dude, you got to focus on this," and he's like, "Well, I'm gonna try this instead," and then he finds out later, "Oh yeah, he was right." So he validation is important for artists, and healthy validation can really help an artist grow as well. But but going back to what I was saying, yeah, I think helping writers and artists kind of take off those goggles, right? Those insecure or too secure goggles, and let them know, like, hey, as a reader, I read your script or I read your pages as a reader, and as a reader, I have questions. And when readers have questions that takes them out of the story, that's a problem. Yeah. You don't want that. You want the healthy questions, which is, I can't wait for the next issue, because you set something up that's going to be resolved on the line. So that's my approach to editing. Is I ask the writer, give me your story, all of it plus context. I need to know your lore. I need to know all of it. I soak it all in, and then based on that, that's when I kind of stay within the sandbox of their project. Okay, so if they go outside the sandbox, I go, oh, wait a minute, according to your lore, you say you wrote that this character does this, and this, but you're having them do this, and that, and it doesn't make sense within the context of your lore. And then that gets them, that disarms them, because then they feel, oh, he's not attacking me for me not being good. He's just pointing out my I guess blind spots. Right. So yeah, I might start doing more editing work going forward, because like I said, I enjoy it, and I have a lot more. Actually, it's kind of odd. I have a lot more satisfaction knowing that I played a role in helping elevate a story that a writer and artist were kind of struggling with delivering and executing.
That's awesome, man. That's good.
I think that's a good move for you, man.
Yeah,
I think so too.
I think that's smart.
I mean, I love writing, and I do want to keep writing.
You do keep writing.
It's just that, like I said, I'm a little burnt out.
So you're burnt out specifically because there's no forward progress?
Yeah. I have a second kid coming, and I'm tired of being broke. That's what it is, man. I'm tired of being broke. I'm tired of having to spend all my own money to pump into my comic projects, and then doing the campaigns and all that stuff is starting to wear me down. But I have faith, man. Like I really have I have a positive feeling going forward. I think Vigilant Fury, like I said, it's a marathon book. I have good things coming for Vigilant Fury. I have plans for Vigilant Fury. Ghetto Dragon, the same thing. It's just a matter of remaining calm amongst the storm that's around me. So that's why I just got to keep going. Keep going.
Amen.
And Anthony,
yo,
you're about to be broke for the same reason. Julius, what's next for you?
Got our first kid coming in January. Well, due date's January. We'll see when he comes.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So I'll probably be pretty quiet during January, like as far as shows and social media and stuff. But let's see. Finishing up Vigilant Fury is number 1 on the list. I'm teaching 2 classes now at college. I have 1 locked in for next semester. I'm hoping to get the second one locked in there too. Teaching classes at my studio. I've been upping the promotions and the marketing for that. Hopefully doing something with Julius after this. But I think immediately after, as far as illustration, and I was telling Julius about this, I want to do a small, pretty quick campaign and crowdfund a commission sketchbook with all the commissions and sketch cards from Vigilant Fury.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah, a similar thing with this, because it's black and white, keep the printing costs pretty low.
Yeah.
And it's something to keep me relevant, I guess, and keep my work out there. hopefully get some more commissions from it. I had a blast putting together the first sketchbook, and like it still sells, which is pretty cool. It almost it's been like 2 years since I started selling it.
Yeah.
And I just, I love collecting them. So I figured, like, if I love getting them, hopefully other people will too. And
yeah,
my work has changed so much since the first one that I'm hoping it gets a whole new set of eyes on my work. And yeah, man, and raising a son, that's gonna be. I can't wait.
That's awesome, man.
That's great.
I'm excited for you.
Thank you. So, yeah, that's what's next, I guess.
Yeah. Well, cool, guys. Thanks for joining me on the stream today. It was fun hanging out.
For having us.
Yeah, thank you for having us. We always love coming on.
Awesome. All right. Thanks, everybody, for watching.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Enjoy the rest of your weekend.